Hi everyone, my name is Sahar and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be kicking off the first episode of the Career Talk series. This is a series where I'll be bringing on guests to share their career journeys. Whether they're in the beginning stages of establishing themselves or have been steadily climbing the ladder over the past few years. I've enjoyed curating these videos and I've learned so much from every guest I've had the opportunity to talk to. And I'm so excited to start off this series with one of my closest friends. She is someone who I've admired for her consistent hard work, determination, and commitment. Introducing all the way from Toronto, here's my friend Amy.
Hi, so I guess Sahara already did her introduction. I don't know what she said about me, but I've known her since we were in grade 9 English class together, second semester. And then after high school, I went on to go to the University of Toronto. I did my Bachelor of Commerce there with Rotman Commerce. I studied accounting, and now I'm working towards my CPA designation, and I also work in corporate accounting.
Thanks, Amy. So starting off with high school, did you always know which career you wanted to go into?
Back in high school, I don't know if you remember, but there were like two things that I wanted to do that were, I think, completely opposite. So I wanted to do either nursing or something in business. So I think I don't know, I think at the end of the day, I just went with my gut decision on what I want to do, which ended up being business.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think, like if I had to go back and choose what I wanted to do again, like I don't know if it would be business.
Oh, okay. So how did you get into the path that you ended up taking?
So like in my family, there are a few accountants. So like a lot of people, they would just talk about accounting. Okay. So I think that's how I got the idea. Okay. But then in terms of nursing, like I don't know why, I just like always wanted to become a nurse growing up.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, like I got to my last semester of high school, then I had the option to like take the sciences, so I could apply to nursing school, or I could like take pretty much the semester off, just do like co-op and then do an online course. So I went with the second option, which like ultimately just led me to do business after. No, but I did take a few business courses in high school that kind of helped me. I guess it didn't really help me decide, but it gave me an idea of what business was.
Okay, so once you decided you're going to apply to business school, how did you strive to make your application more competitive?
I think obviously like grades are really important when you're applying to post-secondary, because I think that's like the one thing that they look at the most, to be honest. But obviously in terms of extracurricular, like join a few things that like you're interested in. I don't think there's like a specific like extracurricular that you have to join to get into the university program or a college program of your choice. But like what I did, I think I did like leadership council. I might have done athletic council at one point. I think we both did athletic council.
Yeah, I think we did, but I don't remember being very active in that.
I think if we go back to our like yearbooks, we would have been in the yearbook picture.
So what is one piece of advice you'd give current high school students?
I think like be open-minded about what you want to do. Like just because everyone else is like doing something doesn't mean that like you have to be doing it too. Like it doesn't mean that like that's the right thing to do. So I think definitely take time to like know yourself, figure out what you want to do, like outside of like society's expectations of what you should be doing. I think that's like so important, like not only for high school students, but like even for like university students, college students, like after you're done school. I think that's like a piece of advice that I would give to like everyone.
Yeah, I mean, when you're applying to university from high school, you go in with this whole plan, knowing exactly what you want to do. But once you get into university, you end up learning so much, and it can completely throw you off your original path of what you wanted to do. Like, I know so many people who ended up changing their majors, so you never know where you're gonna end up. Yeah, so I'd say keeping an open mind is really important. Okay, so now we'll jump into university application. What was your research process and criteria when deciding which universities to apply to?
I think for research processes, like in terms of business schools, I just picked the ones that were kind of close to home because I knew I would be commuting. So I picked like the Schulich School of Business at York University, like U of T's business programs. I might have picked like Laurier too, UTM.
So what other deciding factors were part of that, like employment rate for graduates, the ranking of the school, or say co-op opportunities?
In terms of like ranking of the school, it's like kind of important, but at the same time, I feel like it's not that important either because like all business schools are going to teach you the same thing.
Hmm.
And I feel like something that's like so much more important than ranking would be like how well like you think you're going to fit in with the school and like I think your mental health.
Okay.
Like being at different schools I think is so much more important than the ranking
Hmm.
itself. Because like just because it's a very good school doesn't mean that like it's a school for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think something else that is important, like you said, with employability rates,
Hmm.
like I think that is important too because obviously, like everyone's goal after going to post secondary would be to be able to get a job.
Yeah.
But then I think like at the same time, like getting a job, like there are different ways to career paths.
Hmm.
Like in my opinion, I don't think like just because you go to a specific school means that you're going to be guaranteed a job at the end of the day. I think it all depends on on how you present yourself, how you take what you learn from the program.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot of people say that it's important to like make sure you're going to a good school and make sure a lot of people get a job after school.
Hmm.
But like it's different from person to person.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also depends on like how you make your university experience. Like you could go to a lower ranked school, but through networking and making efforts in different areas, you could end up in a job that you think only belongs to people that go to higher ranked universities, for example. Top business schools like Schulich or Rotman require video interviews. So how did you approach and prepare for that?
For the video interview, what I did is I just like wrote down some questions that they said they would ask, and then I just practiced like recording myself on my laptop's webcam to see like how I sound
Okay.
and just like how comfortable I am talking in front of a camera.
Okay, so you got into Rotman and you ended up going to U of T. So we'll talk more about your experience as an undergraduate. So how was the transition from high school to university in terms of your social circle?
See, I think it was kind of tough for me because in terms of like the people that we hung out with in high school,
Hmm.
and I guess like my friends outside of our high school, like none of them were going to my program. Not like only like one or two people were
Hmm.
going to like U of T.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think it was hard in that sense because I had to make new friends again. And the thing with U of T is like it's more of a commuter school.
Hmm.
So it's like I think it's just a different environment because everyone like goes to class and everyone like goes home after, and even like during like breaks in between, like not everyone has like the same break times in university. So
Hmm.
you kind of just like eat by yourself and then you just like continue on with your schedule.
Yeah, like how you mentioned that U of T is more of a commuter school. I think that's one factor that students applying to university should take into account because other universities like say Waterloo, Laurier, Queens, and Western, they all have more centralized campuses where all the students in first year end up living together in similar residences and you become closer to your cohort, and I think that sort of adds to the student experience in university, and if you're looking and if that's something that's important to you, I take that into account. So then how did you end up connecting with people?
I think in terms of class, I didn't meet that many people in class to be honest. I don't know if I actually like made a friend directly like
Okay.
from class now that I think about it. Just because like in first year, like I don't know if it's like this at like Waterloo or at UBC, but first year like our lectures are so big. There's like thousands of people in it. So it's hard to kind of just like go find your friend every time in the lecture if you don't know them very well.
Yeah. Okay, so how did you have to adjust or change your study habits once you got into university?
I think like studying in university and studying in high school is like a completely different ball game. I think it's just like learning as you go because in university there's so much more material that you have to learn.
Yeah.
So I think it's like learning how to like study smart instead of like trying to like drill all this information into your brain.
I mean, like testing and the type of material you get in university is so different compared to high school. So, what was the root of your degree? Did you take general courses in first year and then go more major specific in second, third, and fourth? Or did you know right away what you wanted to go into?
So for my program in particular, in like first year, it's like general business courses. It's pretty much like first year in my program. It's technically like a general year, and in your second year is when you're officially admitted into the program.
Okay.
Because in first year you need to take specific courses and you need to get specific grades in those courses to actually get into the business program
Okay.
at U of T. So yeah, first year it was general to answer your question. Then second year is when we have to start picking our specialists.
Okay.
So like for my second year, I took a little bit more accounting courses, but there were still some general business courses.
Mhm.
And then in third and fourth year, I feel like in those years is when it was like super specialized in accounting, and most of my courses was like accounting focused.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so what helped you sort of solidify on the decision that you wanted to pursue accounting?
I think what helped me decide was just like talking to some people. So like what people always told me is like starting from accounting and then switching to like other majors or like other specialists within my program is a lot easier just because like accounting has the most required courses.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just like made more sense like start with accounting than if I changed my mind on what I wanted to do, then I could just switch over to the other specialists. So that's kind of how decided.
So you kind of kept accounting as a safety net and then tried out different courses and different specialties?
Yeah, so like throughout my university, like even though I started with accounting at one point, I was like, oh, maybe like what if I want to just do like a general business degree? So
Okay.
that I took some like general, some more courses that were pretty much required for that specialist.
Hmm.
And then I kind of like switched back and forth a few times, but then I ended up just like sticking it out with accounting.
Okay, so what's some advice you'd give future or current university students?
I think one thing that I would give to future university students is like it's just like take your time to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And like, talk to different people. Like don't feel pressure to do something just because you see like everyone else doing it or just because you feel like because of like society pressures you have to do it because I feel like now in this like day and age, especially with like social media, like I feel like everyone sees like everyone doing one thing so they feel that they have to do it too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, with LinkedIn and other social media, you often see people who may have studied the same thing as you all follow a certain path, and you may feel pressured to do the same thing. But I think that's one of the benefits of university that you get to meet so many people, and it's a space to really explore your options and explore your strengths and get to know yourself more. So I think if you really pay attention to that, you can end up in a place that is so perfectly suited for you. Okay, so in the last bit, we're going to be talking about what you're up to these days, and that is studying for your CPA exams. So, do you want to give the audience a little bit of an overview of what the CPA exams are?
Yeah, so pretty much all the courses that I did in my undergrad at U of T, they were sort of like CPA prerequisites
Okay.
to get into like the CPA, the professional education program, or like the PEP program. And then from there, I had to do like two core modules, which was financial reporting and management accounting. And then we also get to pick two out of four electives. So the four electives that we get to pick from are finance, performance management, audit, and taxation. And then from there, we have to do a group project, and then we study for the CFE, which is the final 3-day exam.
Okay, so what made you decide to write your CPA exams?
I felt like it was kind of just like I just felt like it was something that like I should do because I already did, like all of these prerequisite courses. And because like I feel like at that point, now that like all these courses are done, I just have like a few more exams to do.
Mhm.
So it just felt like it was like the right thing to do because I've already like come so far that I might as well just finish it off at this point.
So let's talk a little bit about your study habits. I'm sure that like the course material for the CPA exams is much different from what you're used to at university. So how are you adjusting to that?
Yeah, like I feel like it's like CPA exams are much different than university exams because I feel like university exams test you on like technical knowledge.
Okay.
And it's very like just a technical exam versus a CPA exam. It's more like applying your knowledge in a case setting. So obviously you have to change up your study technique. Like what I like to do is I like to look over like practice cases that they give you so you figure out how to format your response in the way that they want you to write the exam.
Okay, and last but not least, I know you've been working full time and being at home and studying for your exams. along with working? How are you juggling everything?
Yeah, I think like obviously with the pandemic happening, it's been easier to like to study just because like you kind of have less of a social life now because you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think like right now I've obviously been working at home, like fortunately,
Mhm.
because I work in a position that allows me to do so. So like pretty much before work, I like to study like at 7 a.m. in the morning on work days just because I'm like a morning person. Like my brain just absorbs more information in the morning and it's more awake in the morning. So I do that, and then after work I try to fit in like another 2 3 hours of studying
Okay.
in after.
All right, so that's it. I'm all done with my questions. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I think it's been great doing this, and I think if anyone is watching this and needs like advice on like anything related to like business school, if they're struggling to figure out what they want to do, or anything with like I guess like job hunting advice, like feel free to comment below. I'm not sure if so I will leave my socials down in the description box. But no, like comment below and then I'll reply.
And thank you for this. It was so nice to have you on. And that is the end of my conversation with Amy. If you have any questions, I'll be linking her socials down below, and you can connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn, which I'll also have down below in the description box. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future Career Talk episodes and much more. And that's it for now. Cheers!